Forget your morning coffee. Forget alarm clocks, scrolling your phone, or hitting snooze. For cavemen, mornings weren't about comfort. They were about survival. Every day began with a routine that wasn't optional. It was life or death. Before tools, fire, or even language, there was this: a specific set of actions, performed every single morning, that helped our ancestors stay alive in a brutal world. It wasn't just a habit, it was instinct. And it might just be the most important morning ritual in human history. So, what exactly did cavemen do at dawn? And could you handle it? Let's rewind the clock to the Stone Age and find out what it really took to survive sunrise. To understand the caveman's morning, we need to understand their world. There was no security, no stocked pantry, no roof. Every night brought threats: predators, cold, rival humans. And every morning, it was a reset, a chance to prepare, recover, and reposition before the dangers of the day unfolded. Early Homo sapiens, and even their predecessors like Homo erectus and Homo habilis, began their mornings not with leisure, but with assessment. Survival started with awareness. The first instinct was to scan. Eyes opened, ears perked. Did anything move in the night? Were there new smells, tracks, sounds? Every sense activated. Danger could be anywhere: a lurking predator, a storm on the horizon, or a missing group member. Cavemen didn't just wake up, they checked their world. Then came group verification. In small bands of hunter-gatherers, each person mattered. The morning began with silent communication. Is everyone still here? Still breathing? Injuries? A missing child or elder could trigger immediate search or defense mode. The strength of the group was reassessed every sunrise. Next came environmental evaluation. Where did we sleep? Is the camp still secure? Are we too exposed? Did animals move nearby? In open environments, the coldest part of the night came just before dawn, so the first warmth of morning was used to decide: do we stay or do we move? And move they did. Nomadic groups rarely stayed in one place long. Mornings were often the moment to pack up and relocate. Staying too long in one area meant depleting resources and increasing risk. A morning decision could mean walking miles by midday. Hunger, of course, was a driving force. After hours without food, the body needed fuel. But food wasn't ready or stored. It had to be found. So after safety checks and group coordination, mornings turned to foraging, scavenging, or hunting. Insects, roots, small mammals, or even leftover bones were sought immediately. Children, elders, and women typically began gathering early, while stronger males might set off to track bigger prey or scout terrain. Morning was also the most strategic part of the day. Light returned. Temperatures were moderate. Energy was highest. The early hours were when choices were clearest and most critical. But beneath all this was something deeper: rhythm. These routines weren't random. They were hardwired into us. Millions of years of dawns shaped our brains, our hormones, our instincts. Cortisol levels rise naturally in the morning, not just for modern stress, but for prehistoric readiness. Morning wasn't peaceful, it was preparation. So before the first fire, the first words, the first carved tool, there was the morning ritual. But what exactly did they do? And why? Let's break it down, step by step. Because each part of that ritual tells a bigger story about survival. What exactly did cavemen do each morning, and why did it matter so much? Step 1. Sensory activation. From the moment their eyes opened, early humans began scanning. Not out of curiosity, but necessity. In the Stone Age, sleeping was the most vulnerable time. Predators could be nearby, weather could shift violently, or rival groups might have approached in the dark. The first few moments of dawn were about alertness. They didn't have alarm clocks, but their internal systems were finely tuned. As the sky lightened, their eyes adjusted, pupils narrowed, hearing sharpened. The brain, flooded with natural cortisol, became alert. This wasn't stress, it was survival chemistry. They sniffed the air. Certain scents, like smoke, rotting meat, or unfamiliar animal musk, signaled trouble. They listened for birds, insects, or total silence, which could mean a predator was close. They looked for changes in the landscape, disturbed leaves, fresh dung, broken branches. Step 2. Group awareness. Humans were never lone survivors. Even the strongest caveman depended on the tribe. Mornings were the time to ensure the group was intact. Whispered sounds, nudges, and quick visual checks reassured everyone that no one had wandered off, been attacked, or died in the night. Mothers checked on children. Elders were supported to rise slowly. Injuries or weakness revealed themselves in the morning, when the body was stiff and raw from the cold. These signs helped determine the pace and plan of the day. Step 3. Repositioning. Unlike modern people, cavemen didn't sleep in the same bed every night. Most groups were semi-nomadic, moving every few days or even daily. Mornings were often decision points. Was this spot still safe? Were resources, water, food, cover, still nearby? If not, they packed up. And packing didn't mean backpacks. It meant tying useful objects with vines, carrying gathered wood or stone in slings, or simply remembering where key resources were to revisit them later. Step 4. Food strategy. After survival checks came energy planning. The first food of the day mattered. It set the tone for movement, focus, and strength. Cavemen prioritized high-calorie, low-effort sources. Bugs, grubs, roots, nuts. Children might forage close to camp, while adults expanded outward. There's evidence that early humans prioritized shared morning meals. This wasn't just about food, it was about unity. Sharing a protein-rich insect stash or splitting a root helped reinforce bonds, calm nerves, and prepare for the day. Step 5. Movement and blood flow. Ever try to function in the cold morning without moving? Cavemen couldn't afford that luxury. One of the first tasks after rising was movement. Stretching, squatting, walking, or lifting stones weren't exercises. They were life. Motion warmed the body, increased circulation, and reduced the risk of injury. They didn't call it warming up, but that's exactly what it was. Especially in cold climates, getting the blood flowing immediately reduced the risk of hypothermia or slowed reflexes. These 5 behaviors – scan, check, relocate, eat, move – weren't optional. They were instinctual. Repeated every day, they became ingrained patterns. Morning wasn't just the start of a new day, it was a battle won. But what happened if a caveman didn't follow the routine? Or ignored one part of it? Let's explore what that mistake might have cost. Here's the twist. The moment a caveman skipped the morning routine, just once, it could mean death. Unlike modern life, where routines are often optional or flexible, the Stone Age didn't forgive laziness or distraction. A single missed step could cost everything. Imagine this. You wake late. You don't scan your surroundings. You miss the faint scent of predator urine carried by the wind. You stretch lazily, stand up, and walk right into a lion's ambush. There's no second chance, no emergency call. Just one mistake, one lapse, and you're gone. Morning rituals weren't about wellness. They were about not dying. But here's the contradiction. Despite how effective these survival routines were, modern humans have almost entirely abandoned them. We've replaced instinctive scanning with phones. We check emails before checking our bodies. We sit instead of move. We reach for caffeine instead of food that fuels. And what's the result? Rising anxiety, poor sleep, disconnection from nature. The rituals that once preserved us have been overwritten by systems that often work against our biology. Yet, interestingly, science is beginning to rediscover what the cavemen knew instinctively. Take the concept of grounding, walking barefoot on Earth to recalibrate the body's systems. Cavemen did this every single morning, not because it was trendy, but because there was no alternative. And modern studies now suggest this reduces inflammation and improves sleep. Or early sun exposure. Cavemen had no light bulbs. Their eyes met daylight within minutes of waking. Today, researchers understand that morning sunlight regulates circadian rhythms and boosts serotonin. It sets the internal clock, just as it did for our ancestors. And physical movement? No gym needed. Cavemen squatted to defecate, walked to forage, lifted to move objects. These compound functional movements weren't fitness, they were survival. Today we mimic them in exercise classes labeled primal or functional fitness. Even group bonding first thing in the morning, what ancient tribes did by eating together, scanning together, checking the perimeter, is now echoed in studies that link early social interaction to mental well-being and cognitive resilience. In short, the things we view as new science, exposure therapy, cold plunges, fasting, barefoot walking, high-protein breakfasts, are all ancient behaviors. The contradiction is clear. We evolved to survive mornings a certain way, then built a world that ignores everything that worked. But that instinct isn't gone. It's just dormant. And it comes out in strange ways. The hiker who suddenly feels calm in the woods. The camper who wakes alert at first light. The urban dweller who feels uneasy sleeping with headphones on. These aren't quirks. They're echoes of the caveman morning. And when everything collapses, during natural disasters, blackouts, or wilderness emergencies, what returns? Routine, scanning, movement, food strategy, group cohesion. So maybe the question isn't, could you live like a caveman? Maybe the question is, how much of your morning routine still remembers the Stone Age? Let's see how it really worked, in one freezing, desperate, real-life story. Dawn breaks over a prehistoric valley, what is now southern France, 40,000 years ago. A small band of Homo sapiens is camped in a shallow cave, half sheltered from the wind. They've survived the night, but it wasn't restful. Cold crept in. A saber-tooth's distant call echoed through the rocks. The baby cried twice. One elder coughed all night, her breathing ragged, and now it's morning. Before the sun even touches the valley floor, the group stirs, not with yawns and stretches, but with swift, practiced motion. Survival has no snooze button. The leader, a broad-shouldered male named Iru, rises first. His eyes dart. He listens, sniffs, scans the slope for anything unusual. Footprints, broken branches, silence where there should be birds. It's all part of the scan. Then he nudges the others. Not loudly, just enough. Everyone must check in. Two children huddle together under a worn animal hide. The elder wheezes, alive but weak. One adolescent is missing, but moments later she appears from a ledge above, where she'd gone to relieve herself, cradling a few berries in her palm. Iru nods. The group is whole. Now, relocation. They've been here 2 nights, long enough for sense to build, attracting predators. They must move. The terrain ahead promises trees, maybe small game, maybe fresh water. But before they go, they need fuel. 2 teenagers grab digging sticks and pry at a rotting log, revealing fat grubs beneath. Another flicks over stones and uncovers ants. It's not glamorous, but it's protein. Meanwhile, the youngest crawl over a mossy patch, collecting leaves and mushrooms identified the day before as safe. The elder is handed crushed roots to chew. Bitter, but energizing. No one eats alone. Everyone eats something. Movement begins. They stretch their limbs, shake off the cold. Iru has them mimic a call, a kind of animal-like chirp used to signal distance during travel. The group repeats it until the rhythm returns. It's not language, but it's communication. Before they leave, the group stands briefly in the soft morning light. It's habit, not ceremony. They orient themselves to the sun. East means warmth, visibility. They'll move with it, stay in its path. Then they descend into the valley, stepping lightly, silently, already scanning the ground for tracks, for threats, for opportunities. This morning wasn't heroic, it wasn't dramatic, but it was flawless. Every step they took, observation, group check, nourishment, mobility, was a practiced ritual. It kept them alive yesterday. It would keep them alive today. And when they find a new resting spot tonight, these same steps will repeat. The cold, the dark, the waking, the rising, again and again. That's survival. Not through strength, through rhythm. So, what does a caveman's morning have to do with us? In a world of smartphones, alarms, and to-go breakfasts, it might feel like nothing. But in truth, we're not as far removed from the Stone Age as we think. Our bodies still expect us to wake like cavemen. Our biology hasn't caught up with the digital age. It still craves sunlight at dawn, movement after waking, and food that fuels. Not sugar, but protein, fat, and fiber. Our minds are wired for morning awareness, not mindless scrolling. And that ancient morning ritual? It's starting to come back. Modern science now validates what prehistoric survival proved. Experts recommend early sunlight for hormonal balance, movement within 30 minutes of waking to regulate metabolism, cold exposure to activate brown fat and stimulate focus, protein-rich breakfasts to reduce crashes and boost energy. Even the idea of morning community, eating or talking with others early in the day, is shown to lower stress and improve mental health. We're relearning what cavemen never forgot. This isn't about going full paleo or tossing out your bed. It's about honoring your inner survivor, rebuilding a routine that works with your biology, not against it. Some do it through primal mornings, where phones stay off, lights stay dim, and the first hour is spent outdoors or moving. Others train in nature, fast in the morning, or start the day barefoot in the grass. These aren't fads, they're echoes. Echoes of mornings when survival demanded attention, movement, and fuel. Even in high-performance circles, athletes, soldiers, CEOs, the most successful often start their days like cavemen. Early rise, no distractions, movement, sunlight, planning, then food. It's not just habit, it's high-efficiency human function. And when disaster strikes, power goes out, supply chains break, comfort disappears. We don't reach for luxuries. We fall back on routines, on rhythm, on instinct. That's the lesson of the caveman morning. It's not about surviving then. It's about preparing now. The world can still change fast, and the ones who adapt the best are those who remember what it means to begin the day ready. Every morning, a caveman woke into a world of danger, cold, and uncertainty. But instead of freezing or panicking, they moved. They scanned. They acted. They didn't need motivation quotes or fitness apps. They had instinct. And that instinct is still in you. Their rituals weren't just survival, they were strategy, a living system that allowed them to outlast predators, hunt better, avoid disease, and raise families in an unforgiving world. Morning was the most important time of day, not because it was peaceful, but because it was powerful. So the next time your alarm buzzes and you reach for your phone, ask yourself, what would your ancestors be doing right now? They'd be checking on their tribe, checking the sky, stretching sore limbs, eating with intention. moving forward with purpose. That's not a forgotten lifestyle. It's a blueprint, one carved into your DNA. And maybe, just maybe, the way to conquer the day is to start it the way humans always have. Alert, moving, together. What's the first thing you do every morning? And what would your ancestors think of it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe for more raw, powerful stories that reconnect you to the instincts that built humanity. This isn't nostalgia, it's survival, rediscovered.